Okay, so we're done with the triangular distribution. We're on to the normal distribution. One thing to forewarn you right at the start here, as you're reading through section 7.6, there will be a lot of instructions on how to use the normal table that comes with the book for doing probability calculations. We are not going to use that table. You are not going to be given the table on the exam. So our calculators are going to handle all of this for us. We're going to go through how to do this type of stuff on the calculator. This is what you need to do. And come exam time, that's what you're going to need to have with you for handling all of this. So you've been forewarned. Anyway, so as far as the normal distribution, we did already talk about it. We talked about it with regard to the empirical rules. So a big part of what we're doing in this section is basically talking about how to handle normal probability calculations in any scenario, as opposed to just situations where the endpoints fall exactly 1, 2, or 3 standard deviations away from the mean. Okay, so as far as the problem that we've got here, what we're doing is we're looking at the amount of coverage that one of those power painters or electric spray painting machines can handle using 1 gallon of paint. It turns out that the distribution of area is approximately normal. The mean of this normal distribution is 415 square feet. Standard deviation is 17.3 square feet. So to get you back into the mode we were thinking about with regard to when we were doing the empirical rule, just asked to draw a normal curve, and we're going to mark the locations that are 1, 2, and 3 standard deviations away from the mean, and then give the square footage values at those locations. So as you can see here, the mean is at 415. And then each one of these jumps is a distance of 17.3. So this is basically what we did back when we were doing the empirical rule. And as much as you're going to be using your calculator, one of the nice things about the empirical rules, it'll give you a little bit of an idea as to where things should fall. You're going to be asked to sketch, and also at least some knowledge of what numbers probabilities should be between. Okay. Rats, I got out of order again. Let's see. I got way out of order. Oh, here we go. Okay, so if you haven't pulled the calculator out already, this would be a good time to go ahead and pause the video and then go get it, because we're going to use it in a moment. So anyways, so we've got to find the following probabilities here. I've given you 3 that we need to get, and you've got the instructions here on how to use the calculator to determine these probabilities. Instead of sitting here and reading these to you, what I would suggest is you pull out your calculator right now. I did not get my 89 from my office with all of this stuff. I have my 84 here. The 84 and the 83 are going to behave somewhat similar. The buttons are basically the same, so this is going to be fun as we go through this, but hopefully you can see it now. Got a lot of stuff up there. Okay, so anyway, what we need to do to start this off is to hit the distribution key. For those of you with the 83s and 84s, as you can see right there, trying to zoom center in, the distribution key is, isn't this fun? See that button right there that says vars? The second function is distribution. So for the 83s and 84s, you're going to hit second and then the vars key. And it is going to produce a menu that looks like this. You'll see a distribution menu and a draw menu, and item 2 is normal CDF. Now, for the handful of you that have an 89, what you're going to do is when you turn your calculator on, and you have those icons showing up on your screen, you're going to move down to where it says Stats List Editor. You're going to hit Enter, and then it's going to ask you what folder you want to be in. Typically it will say Main. You can just hit Enter again, and what you should be seeing now at the top are you should see 4 lists, but you should also see 7 F keys, and F5 is the distribution key. So if you hit F5 on your calculator, the F keys are towards the top, similar to the way they are here. Not exactly the same on the 89 as they are on the 83 and 84, but you want to hit F5, and you will now see a menu that's similar to what you're seeing here. But the normal CDF function, which is the function that we need, is the on the 89s is the 4th function, whereas on the 83s and 84s it's the 2nd. So we're going to move down to normal CDF and then hit Enter. Okay, now for those of you with the 89, you're going to end up seeing a box that's somewhat similar to this. It's going to have 4 parts in the same order: lower, upper, mu, and sigma. It won't say paste on the 89s. That basically it'll have an enter function. For those of you with the 83s and with the older operating system on the 84, what you're going to be seeing right now is just across the top of the screen, normal CDF with a left parenthesis. And it's waiting for you to put in these 4 values in this order, separated by commas. What will happen, what you will see here with the 84, is that when I've finished entering these and I hit paste, you'll see what it should look like on the 83 screen and also on the 84 with the old operating system. Okay, so anyway, up here, as we said, we're looking for the probability that X is between 400 and 420. So in this case, our lower would be 400. We'll type 400 in there. We'll hit Enter, or you can hit the down arrow. For upper, we want 420. We'll hit Enter again to go down to the mean. Remember that the mean was 415. And then we'll move down to the standard deviation, which was 17.3. We'll move down to paste and hit Enter. And as I said, now what you're seeing, for those of you with the 83s and the 84s with the old operating system, when you called the normal CDF function, basically what happened was you saw the normal CDF and that left parenthesis, and then you have to type in those values, lower, upper, mu, and sigma, in order, separated by commas. So there's the 400, there's the comma, in case you're curious, there's the comma key right above the 7. Then we've got the 420, another comma, there's 415, another comma, and then the standard deviation of 17.3, and then you close with the right parenthesis, which is just above the 9. Okay. So we do that, hit Enter, and there's our probability. Again, same rules that we've talked about previously in the homework. What you're going to do is, for the homework questions involving the normal, you'll go ahead, in your homework you need to write down the function that you used and what you put in order, and then give me whatever the calculator gave you, at least 4 decimal places past any leading zeros. Okay, now for the second one here, we're looking for the probability that X is greater than 375. So in this case, we're going from 375 out infinitely to the right. Okay, so we'll go back here to the distribution function. Bring back the normal CDF. Those of you with the 89s may have noticed you don't have to leave that F5 menu when you're done with the calculation. So as you can see, this has what we had in there last time. We're looking from 375 on up. So our lower is 375. We're not going to have to change our mean and standard deviation. Those have not changed in this problem. As far as the upper is concerned, you've got a couple of different ways that you can handle this. If you want one rule that you can use all the time, what we're going to put in is what's called E99. It's scientific notation for 10 raised to the 99th power. We can't put infinity in on an 84 or an 83. The 89s have an infinity button, so for the upper, if you have no upper limit, you can actually put in an infinity. The way we get E99 here, you'll notice that we have this double E that, I don't know how blurry, no, that's pretty blurry. The double E is the second function for the comma. So we're going to hit second and comma, and when we do that, you'll see a single E. The double E produces a single E up there, that's fine, and then you're just going to type in 99. Okay. We're going to leave everything else as is, and then we're just going to move on down to paste, hit enter, and then hit enter again, and we have our probability, which was 0.9896. Okay. As you notice, I got a little smudge down there in the bottom of the, or in the middle of the screen, so I'm going to go ahead and clear this so that we can see the stuff at the top of the screen. Okay, for this last one up here, we're looking for the probability that x is less than or equal to 435. So in this case, we've got no lower limit, but we have an upper limit. So we'll go back to distribution, go back to normal CDF. Since we have no lower limit, we're going to do negative E99 for negative infinity. The negative is the button down at the bottom next to the decimal point, the negative with the parentheses around it. Do not use the subtraction button. You'll get an error statement if you do that. Okay, so we'll do negative, and then we'll do the double E again. Pardon me. Just like I was there. Okay, so we have E and then 99. Our upper limit is 435. We'll leave the mean and the standard deviation the same. Hit paste. And there's our probability of 0.8762 if we round that to 4 decimal places.